What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and you're watching the B1KER Bar Podcast. Buy a hardtail, man. I'm just telling you, buy a hardtail.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Hardtails are fun,
yeah.
Especially if they're modern hardtails.
Yeah. Don't buy an old one. Good Lord. Yeah, that bike really surprised me. And I think that is what really started me on this like path of most of the time we're all overgunned, you know, and I don't understand why people are buying these like Megatowers and like, didn't you have one?
I did have one. I sold it, but yeah, I have opinions about that too.
Why did you do that?
Well,
I mean, why'd you buy it in the first place?
I think like I had the
short travel bike.
I had the short travel for a long time. It was more of just like kind of understanding what it would be like to be overbiked. And don't get me wrong, I could ride the Megatower anywhere.
Right.
Like it's a fine bike. Am I going to be faster on most of my trails? Probably not, because there's just more bike to move around. It's harder for me to climb. I'm probably going to do less miles on it because I'm less willing to do that last loop when I'm already tired on the Megatower. But for, you know, the small percentage of the rides that are chunky, which are not very often, but that 5% of the time where I need it, I have it. So that's why a lot of people buy those kind of bikes.
Yeah.
Because they figure it's better to have it than not have it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I've done Downeyville on a 140 millimeter fork, you know, and I've done it on a 160 millimeter fork, and the times are like the same, you know. Right. So to get a 170 millimeter fork, or in some cases, is the Megatower 180?
No, it's 160.
It's 160?
160 front and rear. Yep.
But it's 29er. Okay, yeah.
29er. Yep.
Yeah, it's just like I thought it was bigger than that, actually. I thought it was a 170 or something like that. So.
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, if you look at the Megatower, that came out before the High Tower came out. It came out before the Tall Boy came out, right? So you think Megatower is this like monster downhill bike, right? But if you look at the geometry numbers on the Megatower compared to the High Tower and even Tall Boy, they're almost identical.
Yeah.
Even in terms of frame weight, they're pretty close as well. So it's more about like they've kind of settled on this sort of geometry for like trail riding, enduro riding. And then really what you're buying is just additional travel.
Yeah.
So the Megatower is just not as big as a bike as a lot of people think it is. I guess.
I think if I was buying another bike that wasn't an e-bike, because that's really what I would like to buy it if I could right now.
That's a whole other topic,
right? Yeah, you don't have time for that. I think I would go for a short travel 29er. Like I just think like a Tall Boy, or like the bike that you had when I watched your video. I was like, man, that sounds fun. Or the Yeti, you know, like that 115, or what's the new one, the 100?
Yeah, the Yeti, the Yeti SB115.
Yeah,
which is essentially a long stroked Yeti SB100 that's been out for a couple of years. But yeah, those bikes are definitely fun. I was a little scared that those bikes wouldn't exist anymore because like, again, a lot of the bikes that used to be in that category moved up, like the Tall Boy being a good example. It still had 120 millimeters of travel in the current model, but it's pretty raked out, right? It's a 65-degree head tube angle, I believe. So it's closer to the numbers of the Megatower. So that kind of concerned me a little bit, that these sort of bikes like the Transition Spur like would cease to exist, right? And I'm glad it came out. That was kind of a surprise that it came out from Transition of all companies, which is really not known for producing bikes in that category.
If you like that, make sure you check out the full episode. And hey, do me a favor, before you take off, hit the like and subscribe.